over my specific food rules so that maybe will help give you an idea of how to do yours. So specifically, my rules are that I eat 3 times a day and I do not snack. I plan my meals a day in advance. So I know when I go to bed what I'm likely eating tomorrow. Now, am I allowed to make changes or swaps? Absolutely. But I have to have a plan formulated for the next day that suits my macros just so. Because when you go into a day without knowing ahead of time where those meals are and how you're dividing up your macros through the day, your chances of reaching a successful end of day conclusion without any pre-planning, the success rate is low. So I know that my meals are gonna work out if I pre-plan that. And the cornerstone of each of those meals is protein. So for me, I have a minimum amount of protein I'm going to have per meal. In each meal, I'm getting no less than 30 grams of protein. So if I put together an idea for a meal and it doesn't meet that mark, most of the time I'm gonna say that's not an appropriate meal for me. Now, are there times in the year on rare occasions when I decide I'm going to thoughtfully adjust my rule for that day? Absolutely. But 99% of the time, if I am having a meal, it has at least 30 grams of protein. And that also ties into my I don't snack rule, because if I'm not hungry enough for a full-sized meal that has a minimum amount of food in it, not hungry enough to eat, I'm just looking for entertainment. And so it makes a clear-cut distinction between when I eat and when I don't eat. And then lastly, I want to make sure that the ingredients I'm choosing fall within my boundaries of the things that I want to be eating on a regular basis, right? So those are my basic food rules, that I eat 3 times a day. Now, I used to eat 2 times a day, but I've adjusted my rules based on my current goals and lifestyle. And so again, rules are created for a certain set of circumstances. When you were a small child, you had a bedtime that was 8 o'clock. Some of you may also have a bedtime now that's 8 o'clock, but at some point it was probably later when you maybe were a teenager or a young adult, and then it may have changed again when you got a job that started early, right? So we have these rules for ourselves, but they can change over time. So in terms of setting up your own rules, you're going to want to think about your life right now and who you are and what is going to keep you on the straight and narrow, what is going to keep you on the track. So that would be first, who? Know yourself, know what works for you, know your parameters, know what your life is. Your rules are going to be based on your life. What are you going to include? What kind of macronutrients you're going to try to fit within? Are you tracking? What are you tracking? And then what ingredients are going to go within that? Where do you place those boundaries? What things are you going to include and what things are you going to exclude? And then how? Know how you're going to make this happen. Are you batch cooking? Do you not cook? Do you buy your food? Do you eat out a lot? Know the how of how you're getting this food that you've planned to eat tomorrow because you've pre-planned your day. So if you go through your who, what, when, where, and how and create your own rule framework, then it'll be smooth sailing from then on, because this creation of these rails will keep you on the straight and narrow. Whereas if you go into every day with only a loosey-goosey concept that today I'm going to be keto, you have to really define what that means to you. Keto is not enough. You have to have all the parameters set up. If you liked this video and you want more, make sure you're a subscriber. And if you want notifications about videos just like this, hit the bell.